The thumbnail and title are clickbait.
The Earth from the Nasuverse was transported and appeared in another universe. These are not lost belts, or even a universe created by Akasha. It could be seen as something far worse. The Earth has somehow found itself in the Shinza Bansho universe. It is under threat from the forces that rule it. Could the natural defenses and powerful individuals in this world protect the Earth from certain doom, or is it about time the Earth and humanity came to an end? Obviously, the world of Shinszabancho is filled with many supernatural forces and beings, such as those that possess a Braya. Some allow their users to manipulate the very concept of speed, become living lightning, resurrect the dead, or even transform into vampiric demigods. These powers are already terrifying to ordinary people, bending the laws of physics and life itself. But the one thing anyone who finds themselves in this universe should look out for are the many gods and higher forces that occupy existence. The true hierarchy of Shinszabancho isn't defined by armies or nations. It's built on metaphysical beings whose mere existence reshapes the structure or reality itself. These are the Hadu gods, and understanding them, their laws, and the throne that governs all creation is key to understanding why this universe is considered one of the most dangerous and powerful cosmologies in all of fiction. At the center of everything lies the throne, the ultimate seat of existence, the root of all creation, and a mechanism that determines how reality itself operates. Whoever sits on the throne becomes the supreme god of that era, a being whose personal ideology becomes a law of the universe. This law doesn't simply influence the world, it rewrites it entirely. Time, space, death, emotion, even the boundaries between existence and non-existence are subjected to the new ruler's will. Because two laws cannot coexist, only one being can hold the throne at any given time. All others are inevitably erased, overwritten, or subjugated under the reigning law. This process is powered by Taikyoku, a divine energy and metaphysical value that measures how strongly a god's existence overwrites reality. To possess a high Taikyoku is to impose your will upon creation itself. To have a Taikyoku, a 90, as the strongest gods do, means your presence alone can reshape infinite universes. The Hadu gods are those who attain godhood to an overwhelming, all-consuming desire, a craving so absolute they can define existence. When two Hadu gods clash, it's not simply a battle, it's a collision of two universes, two incompatible realities attempting to overwrite one another. The victor's worldview becomes truth. Among the Hadu gods, several stand out as essential figures of the Shinszabancho mythos. Mercurius, often considered one of the most dominant, is known as the god of eternal recurrence. His law embodies endless repetition of all events, a closed time loop where everything that has ever existed continues to happen infinitely, again and again. He controls the flow of time, governs infinite multiverses, and manipulates every concept within them. His Taikyoku value approaches the upper limits known to exist, giving him control over infinite layers of reality. Under Mercurius' rule, even death and destruction lose meaning. Everything reoccurs eternally. This endless cycle of repetition makes his domain terrifying. No matter what you do, you're destined to relive it forever. Following him is Reinhard Heydrich, a figure of unmatched charisma and sheer authority. His law, the supreme golden heaven of the astral realm, centers on domination through strength and conquest. Under Reinhardt's throne, all beings are drawn into an eternal battle where only the most powerful may survive. He embodies the ideal of the strongest ruling the weak, and in his presence, resistance is futile. His sole army of millions fights alongside him. Renfuji represents something different. Once human, Ren ascended to godhood by embodying the law of the eternal moment, a state where all things exist simultaneously in perfect equilibrium. His ideal is to preserve meaning in the face of eternity, to stop time in its most beautiful instant. Other gods, like Mari, follow similar principles. Her law of mercy embodies compassion so absolute that it negates all suffering by embracing every soul in oneness, effectively ending conflict. Each of these deities, their laws, their worlds, their desires, constitute universes unto themselves. Their mere presence generates infinite realities. Their destruction collapses them. And yet, even among these near omnipotent beings, there exists one god who stands above them. That being is Hajun, the strongest and most terrifying Hadu god in the entire Shinszabancho cosmology. Hajun is a paradox. His law is destruction, born from absolute isolation. His desire is to be alone, to exist as the only thing in all creation, because his craving rejects everything, including other gods, other realities, even the throne itself. His power grows endlessly, unlike other Hadu gods, whose Taikyoku value can be measured, usually around 90, Hajun is immeasurable. The in-game material explicitly states that he cannot be quantified. He's so powerful that his very presence destabilizes creation. Infinite universes crumble simply because he exists. His energy density and metaphysical frequency surpasses every known limit, and his tumor, a parasitic fragment of his twin brother, contains enough power to annihilate other gods by itself. Hajun's capabilities defy reason. He can erase the throne system itself, destroy the cycle of reincarnation, and nullify every law that came before him. Where Mercurius ruled infinite universes and Reinhardt commanded infinite souls, Hajun slaughtered them all. He obliterated Mercurius, Reinhardt, and Mari before they could even react, annihilating gods who could control time, space, and infinity as if they were nothing. The only reason Renfuji survived was because Hajun did not acknowledge his existence. He was too self-absorbed in his own supremacy to care. His Taikyoku is self-generating, his abilities infinite in scope. The more he exists, the stronger he becomes, his presence alone rewriting every layer of creation. So, how exactly is the Nasuverse supposed to survive this?
This nigga's legendary? Based on what? What has he done? How long has he been in the game?
Well, I know he got
Who
into
the
it.
fuck knows?
Magecraft is one of humanity's main lines of defense. It's a system that lets humans bend the world's laws using mana and mystery. True magic, the rarest form of sorcery, will come into play, allowing its users to manipulate time, parallel worlds, or souls on a scale beyond normal logic. So yes, mages could still fight. They'd still summon, reinforce, and cast, just as they always have. The issue is scale. The strongest magi can affect countries, maybe even worlds at most. However, in the Shinszabancho universe, reality itself is rewritten by the gods' personal laws, enforced by the throne, the mechanism that defines all existence. If a Hadu god's law declares something absolute, no amount of mana, ritual, or computation can override it. Magecraft isn't entirely useless, but it doesn't really matter once a god's law covers all reality. Imagine a mage casting a spell to stop time, only to realize that time itself has been redefined by someone who controls infinite timelines. It's not that the spell fails, it's that the universe doesn't recognize what stopping time means anymore. Even true magic, which can reach higher planes, would struggle to have any lasting effect when those planes are constantly being rewritten by a Hadu god's will. If any group could put in a real fight, it would be the heroic spirits. They fought gods, monsters, and cosmic beings several times before. The Gates of Babylon, Excalibur, Divine Armor, these are world-class weapons capable of erasing armies and piercing reality against most opponents, even divine ones. They'd still hold their ground, but the problem again comes down to scale. The strongest heroic spirit can destroy worlds or resist conceptual attacks, but Hadu gods represent multiverses. When two gods fight, it's not two people clashing, it's two entire realities colliding and trying to overwrite each other. The counterforce, consisting of Gaia and Alaya, would immediately detect the Hadu gods as threats. They do everything they could, summon guardians, manipulate probability, but the problem is these systems still have a limit. It's not like the planet can just create a being that transcends the throne. That's like saying the Earth can actually create a being that's stronger than Akasha. The worst has yet to come. If Hajun were sitting on the throne the moment Earth entered the Shinszabancho universe, it would already be over. His law would instantly twist reality so that every living being turned on each other. He has so many layers above everything and everyone that there's genuinely nothing that can stop him, and he only grows stronger thanks to the tumor. At worst, he could delete everyone on the planet with just a thought. The most Gaia and Alaya could do is beg for mercy, and maybe Hajun would accept, although I doubt it.
Except blacks, Asians, Hispanics, Jews, gays, women, Muslims. No, you know what? Not even whites. Nobody gets any rights.
The most obvious counter to the Hadu gods and Hajun that Earth can summon is Archetype Earth. Described as the will of the planet, she embodies the supreme authority over Earth's existence and is classified as an ultimate one, the ultimate life form of her celestial body. She can manipulate atmospheric pressure, hurl continents like ping pong balls, open rifts in space-time, and even melt polar ice caps with ease. Okay, why did I say that like that's more impressive? She commands nearly all energy and matter in her domain, manipulating both elemental and conceptual structures, and controls the infinite textures of the Nasuverse, layers of reality that lets multiple mythologies coexist without contradiction. One such layer, the texture of humanity, contains an infinitely expanding universe of possibilities which you can likely access. She can probably also interact with higher metaphysical planes like the Throne of Heroes, which exists outside of time and space, holding records of all legendary figures. This gives her perception and influence over dimensions beyond linear history. Could Archetype Earth actually defeat a Hadu god? I'd say that's a maybe. Not a definitive yes, but also not a definitive no. She performed well against most Hadu gods, in my opinion, thanks to her control over infinite textures of Earth, which are sort of like a multiverse on their own, and existing beyond concepts like the Throne of Heroes. Her nature is sort of similar to how Hadu gods work. Now, I'm not sure how Taikyoku value could play a part in this hypothetical battle, but Archway does have the ability to nerf her opponents when they step foot on Earth, so it's an ability that could come in handy, although again, I'm not sure how effective it would be, thanks to the concept of Taikyoku value. However, her dominion on Earth will allow her to partially resist Hadu god's laws. She does, however, run into a problem when she faces Hajun. If we were to assume that she's relative to Hadu gods, then she's cooked, as Hajun has shown the capacity to fatherize each and every one of them with little effort. I mean, unless she's shown the ability to override the power and authority of all other Ultimate Ones and fatherize them. Hajun destabilizes creation by his mere presence and can erase universes with just a thought. Even with her multiversal authority, Archetype Earth would struggle to contain this level of influence for long, unless we assume she's actually infinitely more powerful than the Hadu gods, which we could assume if we wanked her to oblivion. His infinite Taikyoku value and the tumor practically impossible for her to nerf his strength, so in a battle, she could probably hold her own against the Hadu gods, but she's cooked once Hajun is in the picture. Another being who could maybe stand a chance against Hajun or the other Hadu gods is Voyage Shiki. Voyage Shiki is the third and most mysterious personality, or Ryogi Shiki. She represents the aspect of Shiki that's directly connected to the root, the metaphysical source of all existence in the Nasuverse. Akasha is essentially the ultimate origin and end of everything. Every concept, law, soul, and possibility in the universe stems from it, and eventually returns to it. It exists beyond time, space, and even the laws that govern reality itself, making it the foundation from which all magic and phenomena are born. Because Voyage Shiki is linked to Akasha, she exists on a level completely detached from the normal flow of cause and effect. In theory, this connection will grant her the ability to manipulate or rewrite reality itself. The problem is that this is all theoretical. Voyage Shiki never once uses this power in any measurable way. Her connection to Akasha is more of a state of existence than a combat ability. There are no feats showing or reshaping worlds or overriding other concepts, only implications that she could if she chose to. Even so, this theoretical link places her far above any normal Nasuverse Earth character outside of Archetype Earth. If Voyage Shiki could fully act as the extension of the root, she might resist or even bypass Hajun's laws. Although, I kinda still doubt it. Although, I wouldn't fully say that Hajun isn't beatable from individuals weaker than Voyage Shiki. He was defeated in his own story, after all. If the characters in the Nasuverse Earth figured out Hajun's weakness, like the removal of his tumor, and maybe exploited his immense ego, they could theoretically still beat him. Users of the Mystic Eyes at Death Perception could be integrated into this plan. With their ability, they could kill the very concept of Hajun's Taikyoku, or even the tumor itself. Also, weapons like the Black Barrel could maybe render him and other Hadu gods killable. But don't quote me on that, cause I don't really know if that's possible. All I'm saying is, it's not impossible for the Nasuverse Earth and its inhabitants to still win, although they be in for the fight of their lives.